All right, welcome. After a bit of a delay here because of real life and the jobs, we're back to France 1940, War in Europe, Decision Games, second edition from 1999. And here we are. We've done the German pregame tool. We're using the special rules that try and simulate what happened in real life. I figured why not? Let's see if we can recreate real life. And where we left off was the Germans had basically overrun all in here. The Ardennes, they're on the edge. This is the Meuse River here, and they're right on the edge here. They did have two overruns during the pregame turn, and I did mess up this one because when they overran, they crossed the rivers, so they're halved, or they should be. And so what I had initially used was 3 6 5s. What I'm going to have to change it to do is bring this guy here. We'll see it in the next one. And then have this guy go with them, which then gives me 28, which is 14, which is 14 to 1. And then we've also got this overrun. I don't know where it went. Thought there was another overrun. Let's see, we had that one crossing. Oh, and this one. And that was thanks to this overrun first. These guys could then get up here, and there's no river here, so they were able to just do it. So that's the correction. We don't have a German Panzer Division right here, but we do have a German Panzer Division here. Now, this phase, what we're going to look at is the air superiority phase, attack air. I'm still having a tough time figuring out how to play this solo and do it. So, based on some advice in the comments, I could just do the minimum number to ensure the French and the Brits don't give full air superiority, but I just arbitrarily said all the French and the Brits aircraft come up, and the Germans just match with 10. So it's just a series of 1-to-1s, and you got to roll a 1 to destroy, and they just go through. There is no attacker, no defender, it doesn't matter. So it's just a straight 1-to-1. And we do find out in that process that the French and the Brits roll well. 2 German air points are eliminated, and 1 French air point is eliminated. But more importantly for the Germans, they don't have any kind of air superiority, so they have all these units, 7, 14, 18. They have 18 air points available for ground support and later air interdiction, whoever is left over. So I don't know if I'll come up with a different scheme or yeah, I don't know what I'll do with this air superiority. If anybody knows a good solo set of rules to randomize that, maybe I'll give it thought before the next turn. But that ends the TAC air phase. Yeah, there it is, tactical air commitment we've done. Then we'll move into reinforcement replacement. Nobody gets anything as far as I know from the rules here. Let's make sure. Bring that over. Don't know why it keeps appearing over there. Yeah, we're down here. And next turn, you can barely see it, but next turn there's a 0. This corresponds to the digit of the year. The Germans are going to get 3 infantry replacements and 1 replacement air point. And then we see 3 infantry, 1 air, 2 infantry, 1 mech, 2 air, etc. So it looks like mainly replacements. Just out of curiosity, looking at the Allies, they get more interesting stuff, to be honest. So during the Allied turn, the French get an armor division and a mech replacement. And during the next turn, here come the Brits, 3 infantry and 1 armored division, along with a French 3, 4, and 2 air points. And then it looks like it settles down to just air points and replacements. So we'll see. This game ends on turn 7 because I'm playing with the historical context here. So with all that said, let's move into and see what the Germans did during their initial movement phase. Okay, we are back with the German initial movement phase. And let's see, maybe I'll zoom in just a tad. Yeah, a lot of units. I can imagine trying to play all these stacks on a physical board and not messing things up. One of the advantages of Vassal. So what are the German strategies here? Well, they're not going to do anything here along the Maginot line. It's just too strong, and there's no reason to waste anything down there. So what they are going to do during their initial movement phase, they did come across here to overrun this guy. And again, it's across a river, but only one defense, and this is actually 38 divided by 2. So that's clearly enough. Then they came over here and they were able to pull it off with infantry thanks to the special rules on turn 1 where it only costs 1 to enter, 1 extra to enter, 1 extra to leave, and 1 to overrun. I think it's only during the first turn here for the France scenario. Yeah, here we go. German pregame turn. Game turn 1. Cost for German units enter, leave an enemy Zoc is reduced to 1 additional. Cost to overrun is also reduced to 1. Allied player to enter an air interdiction marker is increased to 4. Ouch. This okay, and Allied units may not force march or use rail. So that's going to see if we can limit the maneuverability. Also, we're playing with a special rule where all these forces run up to into Belgium and the Dial plan here. So what was the German strategy? Went back and forth, but I looked at the surrender rules for Belgium, and it boils down to room for play. At the end of the game turn, that both Brussels and Antwerp are occupied. So we're going to take a shot. There they are right here, Brussels, Antwerp. We're actually going to take a shot at trying to take both of these hexes this turn. And if we can pull that off and hold them, which I think we can, then the rest of the Belgians go away, as well as the Netherlands, because to take them, game turn Rotterdam is occupied. So that's our gambit here to take out the Low Countries, fit their surrender rules by the end of the turn. And then we come down here, and we kind of get a feel for the main event. Was able to do an overrun here, and thanks to the reduced movement rates, this guy was able to get as far as here. So the goal here is to hit this guy, move up, puts this guy out of supply, and then hit this guy. So hopefully by the end of the turn, these two stacks, or by the end of the combat phase, these two stacks are gone, and the German mechanized armored forces are up here across the Meuse. Ready to exploit and I'm thinking pin down these guys. Don't let them react. These guys are still due to go this way, so. But that's pretty much it. Infantry moves to backfill, and we'll see how that plays out. So that's the German initial move. They are attempting to totally cross the Meuse here and start their drive. Well, they could either go this way or they could go for Paris. Part of rolling for Vichy is having, it's kind of influenced by how many British divisions are on the board. So that's where we may get the cut here, put them out of supply, and then see if we can take them out that way. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, so let's move on to the air movement phase. Actually, I'm going to do some airborne drops, so we'll be right back for that. All right, here we do. I did 2 airborne regiments, kept 1 back. I went ahead and did the Eben Namal, or however you pronounce that, fortress drop, mainly because airborne units dropping get their attack factor halved, so even if I dropped all 3 regiments, it would only be 3, which really wouldn't affect the attack. But the key point with that is, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, Eben Namal has the same strength as Maginot Line, 20 and or 10, so that would be relatively tough to take, but let's see, that's fortified units. Hold on, I know. Oh, here we go, fortifications. Let's see, if Vichy is declared. Let's Maginot Line hexes, da 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 da. Somewhere in here it says if you drop an airborne unit, there we go, exception. The Liege forts in C3208, which I hope yeah, that looks about right, 3210, 3208, are considered to have an intrinsic strength of 0 when attacked by air assault. So, gonna go ahead and do it on the off chance that somehow the French and or the English, this would be a horrible stack to have in here. I just probably have to surround it, but gonna go ahead and take advantage of that rule. So now the strength is 9, and of course we've got all the infantry here ready to take the shot. So that's the one drop. The second drop I did, in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have done it. What I'm worried about is when I attack this guy, on the off chance as a retreat result, he could just retreat here. And then this guy would stay in supply, and this guy would block my advance. So if he does retreat, airborne units don't have a ZOC. We could look at the airborne unit rules. They're pretty involved. But basically it does say at least it doesn't block supply on the turn of drop. They don't have zone of control. But at least if they drop in an unoccupied hex, the enemy can't retreat there. So what I've done is influence the retreat and forced them to go over here, or here, and that would be great because they don't add to the defense, and I'd surround them and I'd still have them and take them all out. Now what we're going to see in the combat results is I may not have had to do that, but that's why I dropped them there. And then I did the roll for attrition. When you're doing an air assault, the air point on a 1 or a 2. Let me pull that up here. Yeah, I used 2 air points, and basically the attrition rule says normal air transport, you roll a 1 on a d6, it's a trits out. But if you do an air assault, obviously enemy flak, etc., it's a 1 or 2. And for one of them, I rolled a 1. And for the other, I didn't, so he is placed on the turn track 4 turns ahead of time to be available again. But I still have 1 regiment and 1 air point unused, so I don't know how, or potentially how I could use that, but I did, of course, lose an air point. Lost some Ju-52s, so that's the attrition rule. So that's first use of the, I call it air assault, not necessarily air transport rules. They're a little involved. They are a little involved describing, landing on top of units, halved attack, no zone of control. But I did take advantage of that special case here to prevent, ideally, this guy from retreating here. We're going to see in the next phase that was probably not needed. Not needed, but we'll see. Hold on, we'll get back to that now. All right, here we are. I'm back for the combat. Like I said, this attack will roll first. I think it's these 2 units attacking across a river. Well, one of them is. This guy is. This guy isn't. So basically that gets us 36. Well, I should have done this one first. Half of 38 is 17. Oh, wow. Why can't I do the math? Oh, well, I'll just do it this way. 5, 10, 15, 19. So there's 19, and then we've got 29, 39, 49, 55. 55 to... Oh, did I do it wrong? Let me pause here for a second. All right, it's kind of embarrassing. First time through, I didn't notice the river. That's hence I got 10 to 1. This is actually at 55. It's 1 short. So this is 7 to 1. 7 times 7 is 49. Plus 1. 7 to 1 plus 1, and this is live here. Let's see what happens. 7 to 1 on 6. Same result. DE, and that's the advantage the Germans also have. 1940, they're on chart 1. So that unit is destroyed. We'll look at the results in a second, and then these guys, I think, will advance here, which will then successfully cut these guys off, and they're going to be halved. And with these 2 units attacking, and let's see if we've got rivers again. These rivers are annoying. 1 rivers, 1 not. 10, 20, 38, and then 38 and 8 is 46, and 6 is 52, and then 52 to 4 is, well, there we go, 12 to 1. Not assigning an air unit because on the A table, or table number 1, that's a DE. So again, we'll look at the results later, but they do succeed now in eliminating both of these units, even with my mess up on the odds and the live roll. Now here it gets interesting. First question is 5 to 1 plus 1 is a 6 on the capital, and a 5 to 1 on 6 is a half exchange. So all the defending units do not become battle groups. So they are gone. We'll see that in the next one here. They all go, and half exchange means I don't have to lose 6 factors. I only have to lose 3. Doesn't matter. We're going to reduce an infantry unit, and we are going to successfully advance into Brussels. So that is Antwerp. Gosh, got to get my cities right. We will advance into Antwerp. And I think I did include the river there. Okay, so let me see. Let me make sure I did that right. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 and 3 is 21. And I think that's going to be 12. I think I got 4 of these. 31, 33 to 6 is 5 to 1. Okay, I did that one right. So that's right. This one, oops, got a little lower here. 4 to 1 on 3, but it goes to 4. And let's make sure I got that right. This is a straight 4, 6, 5s. So that's going to be 24 to 6. That is 4 to 1, but it's 4 to 1 on 4, thanks to the fighter unit. And that's a DR. And we're going to see after these guys advance that there's only one place this guy can retreat. He goes here. But more importantly, these advance in, and now we meet the surrender conditions. And then the attack on the fort. Ooh, that's embarrassing. 5 to 1. 3, 6, 9. Maybe I did it wrong too. Oh, for Pete's sake, they're going across a river. Well, let's see how badly I messed this one up. 4, 6, 5, 4, 6, 5. So it's only 24 to 9. Wow, that's embarrassing. 25. 24 to 9 is 2 to 1 on 2. I will adjust this. Ouch! Attacker exchange. I'll have to sort this one out. The attacker must remove attacking strength points equal to or greater than the printed of the defending. Defending units are not affected. So I'm going to change that. Basically what happened was, and we'll have to figure out if the regiment's gone, they have to lose 9 points. So we'll see. Each of these are 5, so 2 are reduced. But yeah, I messed up. I keep missing. France is just full of rivers. And I didn't see a rule about if one unit is on the right side of the river and nobody's halved. I'll check that again, but I'll hold that thought. That may be a correction here. I'll fix that. Anyway, but bottom line, the Germans get their breakout here, and they do take Brussels and Antwerp. So they're setting up Belgium and Netherlands to surrender. All right, so let's look at the combat results, then we'll look at the German mech move. Okay, here we are with the results, and like I said, these units successfully move up after eliminating the French on the Meuse here, kind of like real life. There goes Guderian or Rommel or 7th Panzer, who knows. The only difference is, in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have dropped him, but maybe I should. I think we changed the odds down to 7 to 1. So yeah, there was a chance. Well, maybe not. We'll see. Didn't need to use the airborne unit there. And we do see here, there's a reduced unit. Here's this guy. And I won't fix this. Well, I can fix this now, actually. What we have is this guys go back. These guys go back. I'll fix this at the end. And I don't know what the fate of the air regiment is, but it was a failed assault on Eben and Amol. I guess next turn maybe we'll have a better shot at it. But with the Germans here and here, nobody's going to make it up here. The Zoc movement is 2. So we do get our prevent the French or Commonwealths from reinforcing effect. So there we go. That's the combat results. So let's see how the see how the mech move goes. All right, we're back. I think we're recording. Yep, here's the mech move. We're at 20 minutes. Let's see if I can pick this up a little, but bottom line, the main mech move is here. And you do see we get another overrun here as a mech move, and then the rest of the units behind it take advantage and spread out. Now, the thing I'm worried about by spreading them out, I need to maintain supply lines, so I did a finagling there, but right now it looks like, yeah, nobody can move here. None of the Commonwealth or British or whoever can move to this hex or this hex. So this will be my bridge for supplies, and then we also have it covered on these sides. I had to leave one of these behind just to cover it. Okay. And yeah, the goal here was to pretty much, we pinned these guys down. Ideally next turn, maybe we can surround them and attack them at half off, out of supply, and maybe with the rest of the forces put pressure on Paris. Going to have to see based on the rules who, if anybody, can move to support Paris. So, now they can come from this direction, but by the same token they can't force march, but they can rail move. But this we may have stopped. Well, we can't go to Switzerland, so this line is cut. I'll have to look at that. But, this is the reserves. And they do get reinforcements, so we'll see how that plays out. But again, the mech move exploiting and surrounding these forces here. We'll see how it plays out next turn. But it feels historical, except for this fort assault flopping. But that's okay. Stuff happens. So there's the mech move. We only have one more phase to look at before we call it a tape. And that's the air interdiction. We'll see with the remaining air units how the Germans interdict. All right, here we go. Let's bring it to an end here. The German first turn, following the pre-move, following the historical rules. And for lack of a better method, I just pretty much surrounded all of these. Now, this will not stop any Allied units that aren't in German ZOC and can move one hex. I mean, units can always move one hex as long as it isn't prohibited terrain or moving from ZOC to ZOC. So we'll see what they can do here. I'll have to check the rules too about how these all have to move over here. And then I will, of course, fix this. They're still in possession of Epinal, and that regiment may be gone. We'll see. So there we go. That's the end of the turn. So these are designed more for units that are more than adjacent, prevents them from moving in here, because the scenario rules say costs 4 movement points to move into that hex. 4 additional movement points. So that's going to be a problem for them. I don't know where. Enter a hex container German area is increased to 4 additional. Cost has precedence over the normal cost to enter and leave an enemy zone of control. I guess it replaces it. But either way, the design of this is to prevent units that aren't starting adjacent. Now, these units can't move from ZOC to ZOC, so these units, this guy can only move here if they want to try and escape. And this guy just flat out can't move. Can't move 1 hex ZOC to ZOC. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's a problem with the 4 movement. With a normal ZOC cost of 2 to enter and 2 to leave, you can't move once you're surrounded by ZOC. So these are pinned. These guys, a good chunk, are going to move this way. I'm just assuming this simulates simultaneous. As soon as the balloon went up, and the Allies didn't know about this. Actually, if you look at the history, they were getting reports, and the French generals just kind of scoffed and said, "No, it's impossible. We don't care." So, in a sense, yeah, this is realistic. They're going to move up here. So it's going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel. Maybe the French reinforcements. I'll have to see where they appear. If they appear in Paris, that's where they're going to show up, because at this point, with these units pinned, there's nothing between the Germans and Paris. But again, we've got to make Vichy. That's a roll. And for every 3 British Commonwealth divisions on the board, we add 1, which then reduces the chance of Vichy. So I guess it's a race against time. But this does feel pretty much like real life. Roll of the dice here. It just didn't roll well. But there we go. We're going to see. So the next recording, we are going to see what, if anything, the Allies can do, or at the very least, if they can reinforce Paris. And then we'll go from there. And then, who knows, sickle cut may be in the cards here. Looks like coming in right at Dieppe or Abbeville. So maybe two-pronged here. This one comes for Paris, and this one comes to cut off all the Allies here. And then adjust if the Germans take Paris, and it's a roll of the dice every turn. Can they cause Vichy to be formed, like I discussed in a previous video? All right, gone for a while here, but this was an important turn for the Germans. So we'll see the next one will be the Allied response. Shouldn't be as long, so hopefully I'll be able to get that out shortly. Thanks for listening, and we will see you at the next turn.